So this morning I'm going to be talking with you about our bones and our joints. Such a really important topic because osteoporosis and problems with bone density is a major health problem in society today. And it causes a great deal of pain, disablement, and all sorts of additional serious complications that can arise from this condition. The other thing is our joints. How many people suffer from painful or stiff or dysfunctional joints? Okay. There's an enormous issue here with the health of these parts of our anatomy. And the trouble is that a lot of times when we have problems with our bones or our joints, we tend to not exercise as much because our joints hurt or because we're frightened of our bones fracturing. And as a result, the problem actually gets worse and worse, and we incur other health conditions as well along the way. So if we can do something about keeping our joints and keeping our bones really healthy, not only does it give us a better quality of life, but we're more liable to live healthfully and get out and exercise and move. So I'd like to start by just describing a little bit of the basic anatomy of your bones. And for those of you who are biologists and people who have great knowledge of this subject, just bear with me, it's always good revision. Bones are made up in a very specific way. They have an outer edge, which is called compact or cortical bone. And it's incredibly dense and incredibly strong. A little piece just the size of a matchbox could support tensile pressure of over a ton. That doesn't mean a ton crashing down on top of it. It means literally tensile pressure. But that's enormously strong. And that is the outside casing, if you like, of the bone. Now, the inside of the bone is made somewhat differently. The inside of the bone is made up of many, many tiny holes. At least in healthy bone, it's many, many tiny holes all joined together. And this is called the spongy or cancellous bone. Now you might think, well, why are our bones made of holes? Surely that's already giving us a disadvantage. But actually, because they're tiny and they're so tightly packed, they give us tremendous strength. Now I want you to imagine for a moment that you were playing with the children and you got a whole pile of shoe boxes and you sort of stuck the shoe boxes together and then invited the children to climb all over them. Well, the chances are, if they were shoe boxes, which are fairly large, that even though they were all joined together, when the children played on them, they would all kind of cave in and fall over. Now imagine if you had a block made of matchboxes, which are much smaller, and you joined all the matchboxes together to make a little block, and then you asked the children to climb on it. That would be a lot stronger, yes? And we also, the outer edges of the matchboxes compared to the outer edges of the shoe boxes, if you join them all together, you'd have a greater surface area overall. So the inside of our bones are surprisingly strong when they're in their healthy state. What happens in an unhealthy bone that's losing its density is that the walls of the holes, if you can understand what I mean by the wall of a hole, the walls of the holes start to thin and effectively dissolve until the holes break into each other. And instead of having two little holes, I suddenly have one larger hole. And again, they can break into each other. And so we go from the matchboxes to the shoe boxes to the great big floppy cardboard boxes. And before you know, the bone has lost its density. Now in osteoporosis, it's not only the spongy or cancellous bone in the center that's affected, but also this compact cortical bone that's very tough around the outside, that also thins and becomes more liable to fracture.